30? Wow. Okay, morning everyone. It's Saturday morning, the day before we're going to do the park Tai Chi outside. So I think we have about 30 people that are registered, or, just to let us know that someone's going to show up. I don't think it's raining, so it should be a good day. It's Father's Day. It'll be at 9:30. So if you have plans for Father's Day, it shouldn't interrupt it. It's early enough, unless you're starting to grill at 8:30 or 9. So the thing is, hope to see anyone that's in the neighboring area, because this is Newton, Massachusetts, USA. So it's going to be in back of the academy, which is 66 Winchester Street. You enter through the backside. There's a big field there with nice grass, and a lot of other sports play there, but there'll probably be hardly anybody there other than us. So anyways, I hope to see you there, starting off today with the first exercise. So this is the Tai Chi Paradigm in 108. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay? Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands on your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, cross, knees, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Hands on your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, turn, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Switch again. Switch and straighten the front leg. Reach down. Stretch out the back of the leg. Switch the other side. And one more, stretch. On the right, let it go deep as you can, but don't force it. Go to the other side. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing, hands up, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands on your waist, shoulder roll, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Okay? Press, release, exhale, inhale. stop. Hands up, pull in, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, wrists, elbows and knees. Okay, center, reverse. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle, this goes all the way up. Work the shoulders, keep it relaxed. Keep it relaxed. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, next we're going to do, after that we usually do the leg swings, but we're going to do the shifting of the weight and the single-legged position. So we shift from side to side, get our center of gravity over one leg, and then slide this over, shift, slide. So that's the position you would be able to stand, picking up that empty leg. So that's the one without the weight, and then we're going to pick it up, switch, up, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and pause. Okay, shake it out. Leg swing. Going to go to the right side. So we're going to get our arms going. You notice we start off with our feet a little bit closer so that we can start working the leg. And center. Switch. And center. Okay, next, side to side. So we're going through these typically like we do a class. So if this is going a little fast for you, you can pick up some of the lessons on these exercises in some of the other archive videos. So those are on YouTube. If you subscribe and hit that bell, it'll give you notifications when we do this. And the other thing is you have access to the videos, and a lot of those are tracked easier with the numbers and some of the things that Lucien has done to make it easier to find the content. Okay, shake it out. Hands up. Pull in, out to the side. You inhale and exhale. So deep breathing. Okay, so grilling. Okay, switch. Okay, center. Cross the arms, open and close. Okay, switch. So I'm doing these more as if we're doing class and follow along. So without the stopping and explaining, you can just use the visuals, pick up on the movements by tracking the movement, taking in the imagery. Okay, next, hands up. Okay, preparation. Okay, next, round it out, lower hoop. Clear your thoughts, tongue touches the roof of your mouth. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower hoop. Palms down. Hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, shake that out. So we did some of these positions, standing meditation. So we're in the lower hoop position and middle hoop and upper hoop. That's really the geometry of position. Now we're going to do carry tiger to the mountain. So we're going to pass through these positions. So taking our geometry and going into transitions really becomes movements within the form. So if you can sort of go through these and understand the different segments have different purposes. So you're developing as you work through the different fundamentals. And we do these each and every class so that you can actually get to train and practice consistently. Lift up. And this is the infinity sign, which is divert, lock, or divert and block in the punching series. And then we're here, form the fist. This is your punch. And then we go to strum the lute. Thumbs up, palms together. And then we switch to the other side. This is horizontal and vertical elbows. So positions are described as vertical and horizontal, but it's a transition that happens throughout many of the movements in the form. So learning to relax the shoulders is very important. Learning to relax joints in general is very important, but specifically the shoulders and the hips, the hip joints are essential to let go in order to have the sort of the rounding movements. Then the knees and the elbows are very important. Okay, deep breathing. And then lifting your feet and your hands. So they have different roles in what they do. The hands describe and articulate some of the motions, and your feet are critical in what happens when you're standing, the signaling, the control to control your center of mass, and the sensitivity that you develop in the soles of your feet, as well as how tight your ankles are before you start doing something like Tai Chi. You have to really learn to relax joints. I call them the primary movers: the ankle, the knee, the hip, the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder. All movements that tie these joints together, and you learn to integrate them over time, because really, when I move this way, or I move this way, or I lift like this, they're all actually engaged. Nothing really happens separately, although the amount of relaxation by releasing the joints varies with individuals, so that's why the movements will look different. Okay, now we're going to go into the diagonal flying position. So that appears to be like silkness. So we're just going to run through these. As you probably realize by now, this is beginning posturing. So all the others were setups, fundamentals, transitions. Now we have actually posturing. Building diagonal flying from hold the ball. And then we're going to do cloud hands. Now we're going to shift. So in every position, you have to sort of discover this level of comfort that when you go into a position, there's a point that you feel very balanced. So you have to discover that point, and then your body will start to recognize. And that's the process in anything that we do. You have to go through the motions, and then over time and over experience, you start to discover what that feels like, and you find that comfort level, and that's the level that your body starts to express the motion and position. That's the muscle memory and everything else associated with proprioception, the visual assimilation, the repetition that you've been doing has led us to a point where we're there. And you just, that's a point of knowing. You become very astute as to what is happening when you're in that position. So then when you get to that position, it becomes recognition. You start to understand what that is, what that feels like, and the consistency of that position going to the next position starts to build. Because you have to get to one point, then you move to the next, to the next, to the next. So That's actually the cycle that causes or allows you to evolve. Meanwhile, if you don't practice this, it just doesn't go anywhere. So you have to put some effort and some time. But the effort I'm talking about is not so physical, it's more mental and understanding. So once you get that understanding, the body starts to pick up on all of this. That's that mind-body relationship that I'm talking about, and all of that starts to chime in. It all starts to make sense. Okay, now, after these few exercises, we're going to actually, we did the carry tiger, which is a transition, and we did the cloud hands. Now, when we get to this position, we find the center line. We find the center line. Now this is drawing the bow. Alignments of the ligaments and tendons. Okay, so when we align the ligaments and tendons, we get the full expansion of the movement. So these are the straight movements, these are the folding movements. When we round out and we step out, we go to the horse stance, you open the back and you spread the hands. So this is fan through the back. Okay, now we're going to raise the hand. We go to the shoulder width stance, and we go up, raising the hand. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. We're going to begin the form. Okay, so over the past several months, we've been actually building the sequence, going over a lot of the um, warm-ups and with some explanation and some things that maybe um, you're doing wrong or some things that will help you do it correctly. And at the same time, we're building postures from the beginning to the end. Last class I worked on the cloud hands and closing movements, reversing the ball, all of those things, all part of the form. The repulse the monkey, insert needle, all of these we've actually worked through building the sequence. So today I'm just going to go through the form. Actually, we're going to do it several times. So anyone that's been doing the form and we've been able to do it once, today's an opportunity to go through the form several times so that each time we go through it, you might be able to pick up a little bit more. Okay, so today we start off again, like preparation. Turn the corner. Right side grasp the sparrow's tail. Right side single whip. Now when we go through these positions, we can do it blocky, smoother, more integrated, different stages at different levels. Okay, so we're just taking our time, press forward, Pass through center as you shift your weight to shoulder width, raise the hand. And this is stork flaps wings, right side. Turn the corner, brush knee, right side first, 4 times. And then we go to the left. So this is left side twist step, left side step through to brush knee. Actually, it was right side step through, but you're on the left side brush knee. So that's only 1 time. Now we go back to the right side, twist step, step through, and here's your final brush knee, right side to neutral. Strum the loop. Step up to shoulder width, close the door, form the fist, step up and punch. Sit back, infinity sign, and punch. So that's divert, block, and punch. Here, leopard and tiger springs to mountain, back to neutral, left, turn. Lower the hands, fist under elbow. Next, repulse the monkey. How many times? 3 times. Starting on which side? Left. Okay, so we have 1 right side and 2 left sides. And here's your third, repulse the monkey. Next we have hold the ball to diagonal flying. Okay, so this is left diagonal flying. Sit back, insert the needle, step forward, fan through the back. Turn, stroke down, invert the hand, parry and punch. Okay, step forward, form the fist, and punch. Divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms. Leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Bring the hands down. Sit back, turn. Carry tiger to the mountain. Recognize that transition. Cross hands. Raise the left hand. It's on the outside. Bend from the waist. Left side stork flaps wings. Toe heel pivot. Okay. Left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Left side hook wrist. Turn. Open the stance. Hold the ball. Flip the hands over. Adjust your right foot. Diagonal flying. Again, there's your left side. Back to center. Stroke down. Left side part the horse's mane. So this sometimes was confusing to some people. There's 2 of those similar movements. That's a diagonal flying on that side and a part the horse's mane. Now on this side, we have 1 part the horse's mane. That's the right side, right foot forward. Now we're going to cross the right to the left and go forward to Jade Lady Work Shuttle. Okay, sit back, cross over. Now we're on the right side, Jade Lady Work Shuttle. Now the other thing is going back to hook wrist, single whip. In the long form, we would do grasp the sparrow's tail before going to single whip. Here we just pass through. Now cloud hands, 4 hand movement. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Hook your wrist, back to center, hold and reverse the ball, pivot the feet, right side diagonal flying, closing the form, left foot back, and parallel stance. elbows out, and back. Okay, deep breathing. Okay, so that was the form. I kind of went through some descriptions and we went through it naming the postures. So this time we're going to go through it again. Be less talking, more going through the form. So follow along again. Ready? Okay, so that's the sequence. So while you digest some of what you just saw, or as you followed along, I'm going to actually talk a little about, video. Video was something that's developed probably in the last maybe 25 years, and it's kind of evolved a lot. Now, when I was first learning, and it's, many, many decades ago, we didn't have video. The best they had back in the day, even with my teacher, was 8 millimeters, so a lot of stuff wasn't very clear. But because today we have this opportunity of um, video and caption in such clear format, it's such an opportunity that people have learning today. It's not something that was available back even just 30 years ago. So there's a lot of teachers that never were really captured on film. So that actually is lost. Because when we learn, and we learn visually, seeing what you're trying to learn is very important. So I do form, and I'm one of probably the few teachers that actually are willing to go through the form with students regularly. You might see a teacher perform once in a while on stage. That's an opportunity, and it's like this great highlight that you get to see this teacher. But the thing is, I don't think that's helpful for the novice. It's not helpful for the intermediate, because you have to actually work in sync with the teacher based on the level of learning. So I like to take it down from grassroots all the way up to whatever level you try to achieve. So I think that's a very important approach. And a lot of people that are online watching today, they said, wow, we have a teacher out there, and I like the way he teaches, or what, some of the information he's sharing. It's such a great opportunity. Well, you have this format, you have the videos, and it's archived and it's stored, and as long as it's in digital format, it doesn't deteriorate like all the other type of video that we used to use, whether it's VHS or 8 millimeter. There was so many different formats along the way, because I've been doing this for a long time, and we always tried this at some point, utilize some type of technology or electronic tool to help us capture things. So, we have this today, and it's a very valuable tool. Now, just to give you a little history about myself, as far as teaching, I've started teaching, not specifically Tai Chi, but when I was probably about 14 years old, I had my first opportunity to be an assistant, and I actually had my own little class at a school. And then as it evolved, I met my teacher, who I stayed with for 27 years. So a lot of people say, oh, I've studied for 5 years or 10 years, and now I'm teaching and so forth. Well, I had sort of an internship from the age 14 all the way through to I was 45 years old before I actually went on my own. So you can imagine how long I've been teaching in order to get that experience. So that's what's different from what people see outside that are not really as trained. So that's really the path that I took. So, the amount of learning and amount of skill that I developed, I had to learn for 27 years before I even felt comfortable going out to teach on my own. And that happened in 1996. So since 1996, we've come to today, and along the way, at the academy, which is Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy, all our students are trained here. All our teachers are trained here. No one comes from the outside, essentially, that actually, we don't hire instructors. We teach within the realm of our own style. So everyone that you'll see is going to be very consistently the same. Then, we're proud of that, because the instructors that we have vary. No one actually is here that's assisting or teaching with less than 10 years on the basic level. Most of our instructors have over 20 years, and many of our senior people have over 30 years to 35 years of just practicing this style. So that's the reason why what you see here is different from anything you're going to see outside, because of that depth and breadth of what we do. So that's, something we usually don't talk about it, but that's the reason why. And if you continue to follow, you'll continue to see the content that is going to be as consistent as you've been noticing since you started viewing. And when you work here live, it's with the live classes, it's essentially the same type of format, and the instruction is at that same level. So anyway, that's something I just want to take a few minutes of your time. We'll go through the form again. Okay? So as you integrate, as your body starts to become much more adaptable to what you've already learned over this period of time, everything becomes blended and it starts to become seamless. In the Tai Chi paradigm, it's our form to prevent age-related degeneration. So, depending on when you start, it'll continually evolve, and you'll notice, as you progress, that more and more things happen. That's part of the evolution. Most people don't practice to become a master, but most people strive to be better. So, this is what you can do. Just keep working, and you'll gain the benefit. Ultimately, exercise is important. So if you're going to exercise, do something that's appropriate to your age. Do something that's not going to damage your joints and damage your musculature. So do it slowly, methodically, and use your mind to direct the movement. Okay, good. So deep breathing now 3 times. Okay, so we're going to have that outdoor Tai Chi group tomorrow. You're welcome to join if you're local. For the people that are coming, if you parked across the street over in the lot across the street that we've generally been parking, um, park in the back of the school because you're right next to the field. In fact, the parking across the street has been suspended for a bit. So when classes start in July, anyone that parked across the, you can resume parking because that's when we're going to reinstate that parking. So until July, stay, in the back of the school. Um, in July, if you were someone that actually was parking there, you can begin again. So that's one thing. And then, while I said earlier that I've had all these years of decades of experience, um, and it's been gratifying throughout the years. But this last 4 months that I've been streaming, now, the old saying, you never stop learning. This learning process and videoing and learning how to do this has been a tremendous learning experience for me. So teaching this way virtually and one direction is something that you have to develop a knack for or the ability to do. So that in itself is learning, because how do you communicate to people that you don't see? So this has been a great learning experience, and it's actually helped me um, send this material out to the people that are watching. So on that note, I thank everyone that's watching for this experience. Okay, now we're going to go into 108 movement form, and we're going to go through, let's go through the form as we usually do first. So today is all about going through the sequences, all right? Because tomorrow we'll be doing it again, right? So preparation from the beginning to the end. So I'll talk you through this too because it's longer. Um, I'll explain some of the sections. So this is pretty typical of the Tai Chi paradigm. In fact, the Tai Chi paradigm has left side movements that this form doesn't have. So that's a really big benefit to the people doing Tai Chi paradigm because you get to do the left side. We don't get to do the left side until we start to instruct doing mirror image. So you get a heads up doing this. So this is stork flaps wings. And this is the same brush knee 4 times. And hopefully while you're watching, what you actually realize that the movements and consistency of the final positions become very apparent because that is, one of the end goals, accuracy of movement and consistency. And what happens when that happens is you start to know. The body recognizes, that's part of the proprioception that you develop. It's part of, the whole purpose of doing this. And while you're doing that, you develop tremendous control of your body. You work the total body. Your circulation becomes much, much better. And it's total circulation if you're moving the total body. Now, this is your obliques. This is not in the Tai Chi paradigm. It's the obliques, but the postures themselves are not unique. It's the same brush knee. That's what you have to understand. That throughout the form, we replicate many of the postures. And by replicating postures, you get to do them more often. So what happens when you do something more often? You get better at it, and you start to begin to connect with what you're doing. Fist under elbow. And repulse the monkey. That's a leg work. It's not a kick. It's a footwork. Raise the hand again. Stork flaps wings. That happened before the 4 brushing, but this time we only do 1, because this is followed by insert the needle. Okay, so you can see there's some add-on movements, or actually in the sense of the Tai Chi paradigm, we subtracted movements. And that's because a condensed form, which is what happens with the modern forms, is really taking out some of the movements to avoid or reduce some of the redundancy. So that's what happens. Okay, then we begin a set of cloud hands. In this form, we have 3 sets. And there's a slight difference in the transitions, but the thing is, there's 3 sets, and each set could be a way of distinguishing where you are within the form. So after the first set, it's followed by the kicks. So that would be a section of the form when you're learning it to focus and practice just this grouping of movements. And once you develop the knack for this group of movement, then you can actually move into the next section. So we have the 2 instep kicks and the turning with the heel kick. So the heel kick is on the left side, and we're going to do one on the other side after we finish this section. And here's your brush knees. There's 2 of them. And then we're going to do the brush down planting punch, okay? There's 1 movement. Here's the back fist, so that's the parry and punch. Slightly different format. It shows up in a different place. And here's the same hand movements we did with the first kick, but this time we're going to do this opening, which is a footwork, to cross leg, and we're stepping backwards to open. This is beat the tiger. If we were to close the fist, that's that position. Looks like Jade Lady work shadow. We come down, we take a 180-degree turn to the back corner, and looks like Jade Lady work shadow. So that's setting up for beat the tiger. We lower the hands, cross the forearms, level the shoulders. Here's your right heel kick. Here's your 2 punches to the ear. Shoulder level, it's relaxed here. Okay, eye level with the fist, okay, about the width of your forehead. So I brought that up before. So that's 2 punches to the ear, striking the temples. Bring your left hand on top. We flip the hands, fold the elbows, potting leg. So potting leg is really like a crescent kick. It's more on the horizontal level, okay? So that's going horizontally versus all the other kicks that seem to be going up. So that's just like your elbows, horizontal and vertical. So now I draw the analogy of the lower part and upper part being the same, that the elbows work with the knees. Well, that's what I mean, the elbows and the knees. When the knee goes out, you're going to go in a horizontal direction, essentially. Now we're still doing a repeat of the obliques. So here's your obliques. We sit back and we go forward and we turn, and this is opposite corner, and we do a grasp the sparrow's tail here. Okay. Then we hook our wrists and we turn all the way to the front. Okay, then we hold the ball, reverse the ball, and then we turn. So that was a diagonal flying on the right side. Now we start to move in this direction, okay, and we do 2 of these. So there's 5 part the horse's mane. So now we're moving in this direction. So because the mapping of the form wants to kind of take you back to where you started, we end up moving this way, right? So that's why we have forward and backward movements. And then we cross over, so forward and backward, we this going to the corners, forward and backward would be brush knee, backward would be repulse the monkey, and we have some of the step back and punch type movements. We're back to here, we hook our wrists, and now we're ready to do another set of cloud hands. So here's the second set of cloud hands, okay, how you distinguish the second set of cloud hands from the first is one set. After the first set, you have kicks. Now we're going to get into the downward posture. So when we move, we have the downward posture coming up. And the downward posture, so snake sticks out tongue, flip, flip, pull down to the golden cockerel, stands on one leg. Okay, and then we kick and balance. Here's repulse the monkey again for the second time. So off of Jade Lady work shuttle, we have repulsed the monkey. Off of fist under elbow, we have repulsed the monkey. So this is just repeating the sequence. And we carry tiger to the mountain again. And we open the stance. That's working flexibility and strength in the legs. So here we step up and raise the hand again. Bend, stork flaps wings. Toe heel pivot takes us to brush knee one time. So remember we did this earlier? This is the second time we do this. Insert needle. So this is the second time doing insert needle and fan to the back. Okay, now we turn. Stroke down, parry, and punch. This is like in the Tai Chi Paradigm. We step up and form the fist. So you already know this from the previous form. Now we step up to grasp the sparrow's tail. 1, 2, 3. Hook your wrists. And we're here. Now here's the third set of cloud hands. We begin by holding the ball, and we continue through with 6 hand movements and 3 step to the sides. Okay? And what happens here? This is where you get another set of new movements where you start off with palm strikes face, turn, single lotus kick, which is this, and then we go to here for brush knee left side push. It's one of the few times we do it on the left side first, and as far as the brush knee, and then we're going to turn out, and we have punch down to crotch. Okay, so that's different from the planting punch. This one kind of shoots straight down. We step up to grasp the sparrow's tail again, and we're back to single whip. We open the form, okay, to single whip. And now there's no more cloud hands. We're going to do the final downward posture. So this happens the second time. And then we go to cross hands second time. But the first time we went to here, that was Jade Lady, Golden Cockroach, we're here. This is 7 star. We sit back, turn, and step up. Let's ride the tiger to palm strikes face. Then we turn, change the palm, bring the hands down, double lotus, draw bow to shoot tiger. So we can go forward, bring the hand down to palm strikes face. So here's, right after third set of cloud hands, we did that. And here we go, repeat the movement. Here's your parry and punch that shows up many times, and then we're here. High pat the horse like the kick. That was palm strikes face, high pat the horse. Now we go to neutral. We go to neutral. That's right from the fundamentals and basics. grasp the sparrow's tail, hook your wrists, and we open to here. Now we hold the ball, close the form just like in the Tai Chi Paradigm. Same closing, step back and close. And good. So you notice you end up about the same space as you started because the mapping of the form is already determining where you're going, how many steps, and it's all calculated. Now, trying to target back to the same position varies based on how your footwork is working when you're going through the form. So if your footwork is fairly accurate, taking you in a direction, then you're going to get within a foot of where you started. And that would be, pretty close to, the correct footwork. Then the speed of the form. A lot of times you say, how fast should I do the form? Well, use a time frame as that. Say 15 to 17 minutes. 2 minutes is actually a pretty long time if it comes down to it. But the thing is, between, say, 15 and 17 minutes is a good range to do the complete form from beginning to end. So that will help you determine how fast you should be going. Some of it's experimental to see how, slow you do certain parts and how fast. You should have a fairly consistent speed throughout the form. That's the slow form. And then the transitions. Transitions are when you move from one position to the next, and how you integrate and how you shift your weight. That's actually going to determine how slow you do the form. Because if you're not shifting your weight and you're not sort of differentiating what we call the solid and empty, where if you don't carry your weight before you step and you just go from here to here, that eliminated some time. So where the Tai Chi form appears to be long comes from the transition. Why it appears to be slow is also the transition. So if you don't have complete transitions and you don't have fullness in your movement that covers the volume of your movements, that's going to take up less time. So the time element is really tied to transitions, and transitions that are correct should have fullness and consistency, and that integration with the legs is going to take you at least 15 minutes to do if you're going through it, even at, it doesn't have to be as slow as a turtle. It just has to be, moving consistently with that, and it'll take you 15 minutes. So anyways, on that note, I think if there's any questions, you can ask Lucien. If there's a chat, we've just went through the long form. We still have another 15 minutes, so if you want to. Positioning your body while you're shifting it would vary between which posture you're actually transitioned out of. But generally, say we're in a parallel stance and we shift away, that's going to be side to side. Now, when I'm in a position where I'm like this, okay, when I go into this position, my right leg took the weight. Now, I can go this way by just going side to side as some of the drills that we do. But if you're going to turn into this direction, you first have to turn to set up that position to bring your weight back. So what is the goal to get into a sort of a back stance, or where the weight is on the back? Well, a lot has to do with where your spine is. If I turn like this, then I can put my spine over my heel much more precisely. Whereas when I go like this, if I just sit back, my spine is not in the right position, mainly because I haven't adjusted my lower extremity, the supporting leg. See, when you're first learning how to transition through your stances, you just think it's a forward and back. But actually in the lower half of your body, it still has to be manipulated in a sense that the knee, the ankle, and the hip has to be rotated to the correct position before you're there. So like that's developed in your silk reeling as you turn and you turn and you turn. Your spine is moving from here to here to here. I'm saying maybe the spine is one vertical column, but the tailbone, the coccyx area, is the area that we use as a guideline for plumb. Now, if you're tilting your tailbone in either way, it's actually going to create some tension in your hips, or it's going to take you out of the realignment. So your body should be fairly vertical throughout all of your transitions. So that's pretty extreme there. Now, if I'm here and I do a brush knee, I can just go from here without pivoting, step here. That's the simplest. Why? Because it's easy to bring my tailbone to here without anything happening here. But what happens if I'm coming to here and I turn first, then I have to go in the direction of where that foot is facing. Because the heel and the tailbone, that relationship has to be one line. So that's really part of the challenge. But that also brings in the fact that you need to be relaxed in the lower extremity. So if you begin to develop that ability to maneuver from below, then what is that going to do? It's going to improve your balance. It's going to improve your flexibility in the lower half of your body. It's going to improve your agility. It's going to improve your shifting of weight. And then it's going to soften your legs. So if you're concerned with balance, falling, agility of footwork, and working your joints correctly, all of that's going to happen by doing that lower half work. So, while we focus a lot on patterns up here, most of us can pretty much mimic a lot of the upper body movements because we know how to maneuver our arms because we're using them all the time. It's taking that concept down to your lower half of your body. The legs are not actually as astute and as well coordinated typically as your arms because we just use them for carrying our body from A to B, point A to B, and we don't actually manipulate the skeletal structure below the waist. Sitting, not using them correctly, what happens, back to what I've said in many of the classes, your body will think, or the mind will think that it's not necessary, so it doesn't really pay attention to it anymore. It just, if it had the ability, it gets pushed back. It could put back, stored somewhere. If it never did it, it's never even going to be stored. So all of this from the beginning forward has to be a learning process. So there's one more element that's actually going to restrict some of the things that you do. Habits. There's habits that we develop over the years of not using it, and those habits are created up in here where it thinks that's normal. So what's normal, becomes something different, and the brain could get confused, and the body's confused. So what you have to do is go through a process of relearning, and to relearn, you have to unlearn. So that's the process. But you can imagine how much value that is between what's going on here and what's going on here, because eventually it's going to sync up. Synchronization of the body becomes that. So the mind and body have to work together. So hopefully that will give you an idea. Now, just taking, say, say downward posture. We're down here. If you can't go down, it's okay, but you shift here. When I get to here, if I don't fix my foot and I bring my tailbone over here, I'm heading there. But I want to go there. So what do I have to do? When I come up from the downward posture, I have to straighten my foot, and then I pass through my center, and then there's where I'm in the position to support that vertical line. So everything that we're doing is finding that center. So in Tai Chi we call forward, backward, right, left, center. So center is equilibrium. Central equilibrium is where your center of mass is. So that's really what you're dialing in. The center of mass control is really essential to the true balance. Now, because center of mass is really different in every configuration of your body because of the postures, then you have to find that center each and every time. And then over time, your body starts to recognize it, and it picks it up faster and faster and faster. And then it becomes innate, spontaneous. So that's really what the training is. A lot of people that are prescribed Tai Chi, a lot of people that even prescribe it, don't actually know how this works. Even though there's a science to how the human body works, there's a physiology, there's a whole lot of things, but it's all broken up into different expertises. There's a neurologist, there's a exercise physiologist, there's a this, there's a that. They're all working with the same body, but where does that information come together so that your body can utilize it as a method? I do that with the Tai Chi Paradigm. I do that when I teach Tai Chi. I pull all those resources in that you have in the anatomy of your body, the physiology of the exercise, and the neurological side of how you learn. And not to mention what's happening on the inside. I mean, it's all come together in one package. If you understand this, then there's something that you could see how valuable this is. I could talk myself blue and not convince you that this is good until you experience it and go through it. So hopefully I don't have to continue to talk till I'm blue. Hopefully people will see this and realize that there must be something to this. You know, I've been doing this a long, long time, and I know it's really time, a function of time and experience and that journey. If you do something as long as I've done it, which is pretty rare in most cases, but there are a lot of people that spend their whole life doing only one thing, and they get very, they become gurus. They're very dialed into that. So I'm dialed into this. So, everyone has something different that they're focused on. So the passion for what I do has been this. So anyways, I think, anything else? Are we pretty close? 5 more minutes? Okay, let's go to the back of the form, the tail end of the form, because we always work from the front to the back. Let's go from, let me see, what's a good thing? Let's go from, say, palm strikes face. Okay, so when single whip, we hit palm strikes face. So this is palm strikes face. So the reversing the ball, the palm, reversing the ball is something that we maybe think, well, this is reverse the ball. Well, a ball has volume. It's a sphere. So any angle that you reverse the ball is going to be reversing the ball. So when you take a ball and you spin it like this, how many directions can you reverse it? That's actually, the lion playing with the ball. So when you play with the ball, you can go in different directions. Now, how you reverse your hands and how your body synchronizes and coordinates with that will be another expression of how that movement happens. So typically we're here, and then you finish here. Then when you turn here, you have that single lotus kick. Now, if you can't do a lotus kick because of flexibility or balance or your body, so don't hurt yourself trying to do a single lotus kick. The simplest way to do that is once we turn like this, slap your leg like this on the knee, and then you can take that as the single lotus kick. So it's a single leg movement, all right? So really it's equal opposite. Boom. Then you're here, go to the left side, brush knee, and push. Then we step up, and we do the planting. This not the planting much, but the punch down to crotch. So that's what the technique is actually. You're going to hit someone in the crotch. Probably just as a visual, you don't want to go through that. But anyways, let's step up, and now we're in the grasp the sparrow's tail right side again. So that's step up and grasp the sparrow's tail. Then we get back to single whip, and we have the second downward posture, taking it from the second downward posture. We know that once we get to this position, and if we can't go down, you can stop halfway, come up. Now we have to do that again. We have to toe out, bring our tailbone over that foot, and then we can control that. The mistake a lot of people do, and when you're coming up and you don't find this position, you end up like this, and you have a lot of weight on the front. That's the wrong position. The weight should be on this leg, and you're prematurely putting down that foot. So that's like dumping that foot there. You're not going to be stable. You're not going to be controlled. So ultimately, if you can't find that position, going back to specificity of training, you're specifically learning to do that. You get to here, and then you're here. Okay. So the only way you can develop that is by doing that. So taking it before you even get to that point, if you go like this, and you go like this, and then go like this, you've actually started to program that motion into here, because now you're finding that center, and you're finding that. So, while we go through the forms sequentially, that's what we're trying to memorize, you have to build the body mechanics to recognize that in every step that we do, we're doing that same thing. But without it actually brought out and highlighted as what I'm doing now, you don't recognize that when you're going through the form. So stance work is the training to building balance and control, and how to move from position to position. So that's in a nutshell. It starts from the beginning. I move here, I move here. I move here, that's it. I move here, I shift, I pivot. I move here, I'm here, I'm here. So you're always in a line of verticalness from the spine down. Okay. Now, here's the difference in this, 50-50. Your spine can't go over both feet. Otherwise, your spine would do that. Well, actually, you have only one line. That line goes right between your feet. And the way you modify your center line is to shift. Or you shift. See, so that's how your body becomes agile and supple. It's pretty interesting, but at the same time, it's pretty complex and it's pretty complicated to do. But you have to think along those lines, and then you'll be successful. Okay, on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video. See some of you tomorrow, and keep practicing.